You're listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more. Wait, what I mean, this is your boy, Al Mega. Welcome to a brand new Comic Crusaders podcast. And today, we're celebrating some indie comics, baby, some indie comics madness. So there's some dope crossover event that is about to pop off in the independent comic books universe. You know, and one of the publishers actually even a nominee for the Heroic Awards that's going to be celebrated at C2E2 this year with your MC Al Mega. That's right, baby. I can't wait to get into that, and I'll show you some stuff off on that in a bit. But, you know, while we wait for one of these individuals, we have one homie in the house. I had the honor of reading this book. Oh my God, Band of the Black Fist, gorgeous independent comic book. By what I understand is a Wu-Tang of a publishing base from the Royal House of Comics, creator of the Band of the Black Fist, the one, the only, the mighty, the future legend and future star, Chuck Hawks. Welcome to the building, brother. How you doing?
How you doing, Al? Thanks again for having me. Hey, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for coming through and talking some comics. I mean, listen, we're waiting for Big Tony to be in the building. Maybe he's out there saving some lives right now because you know what he does, his day job. So I'm going to excuse him. I want him to be safe and not do a part. Pick up his phone. Imagine he's combating something and just no. Save those lives, Tone. And we'll wait for you to come on through when you're ready. But Chuck, thanks for coming on, and we're going to be talking some amazing indie comics, an amazing crossover event, and a whole lot more. All right, so for those that don't know you, Chuck, let them know where you're originally from, and most importantly over here, what is the first thing that you ever fell in love with in fandom?
Well, I'm from Wilmington, Delaware. I was born and raised there. I'm living in North Carolina right now, Durham, North Carolina. I've been down here longer than I was there. The first time, my very first ever fandom. Wow, that's a good question. Now, do you mean fandom when I knew what a fandom was? Or just fandom when I...
Self-discovery, when you found something that you personally fell in love with and you said, this is my John, that's that, I don't care what anyone think, I'm in love.
I was about 6. And it was comic books.
Okay.
It was, I might have actually been younger because I couldn't really read yet. And we would go to farmer's market on the weekends, me and my parents, and there was this guy who would sell these boxes of comics for like $1, $2, and it was, you get 10, 12 books. So I always wanted some. We never got any. This particular time, my dad was like, yeah, cool. I'll buy you that box. The only book I remember was Amazing Spider-Man 101. I've come to know that was the number. It was the first appearance of Morbius. Oh. And I remember looking at the cover, and I was like, how come Spider-Man's arms don't have sleeves on them? Like 2 of his arms had sleeves, but remember, he had mutated, so he had the extra arms. And I was like, that's strange. He doesn't have sleeves. So my dad read me the book. He only did voices for Spider-Man. Everybody else, he just did the normal voice.
Yeah.
And that was the end of it for me. That was the end of it. And I've been reading and around and immersed in comics ever since. Like my whole desk is covered in them right now. Right now, I got comics on everywhere. They're everywhere, all over my house.
Oh man, you see that this is the best type of hoarder for us geeks, Yeah, comics everywhere. Yeah,
comics everywhere.
This guy probably goes to the strip club. He doesn't pull out dollars. He pulls out ash cans. Starts giving
pages.
Them out like It's alwa's gonna be worth money someday, baby. Don't you worry.
One day it'll be worth something.
More than $1. Don't you worry. All right, so. Did you have a tribe in your fandom as you were growing up outside of your family, like cats you were able to chill with that were down, or did you keep this kind of quiet because it was just too nerdy at the time?
Well, at the time, this was in the 80s, so it was, even my friends thought that shit was weird. Like, even my friends were like, yo, man, that's like, you're going to spend your money on that? Why don't we go buy a sneaker, whatever.
Yeah.
I just wasn't into it. I wasn't into any of the things. I was an athlete too, so I was a swimmer. So swimmers are also a little weird. So I was on the outside of the outside. Like, I was a weirdo to the weirdos. So for years, weirdo squared. And it was cool because, like, all my weird friends knew that I was into it, so nobody gave me a hard time about it. Like, it was always with affection, the teasing. Like, it wasn't really bullying. It was always with affection. Every birthday.
There. That's a common hero there. Weirdo squared. That he's weird, but upon weird.
Weird upon weird. Right. And it was, every birthday, somebody gave me something with Batman on it or Spider-Man on it. So it was cool. When I got to like 6th grade or 7th grade, I saw another weirdo, because we could spot each other, sitting in the corner of the lunchroom by himself, reading a comic. He was reading the X-Men comic. I wasn't hip to X-Men at that point. That dude, and it kills me because I can't remember his name, but not only did he get me into X-Men, he told me, there's a store you can go to that only sells comics. And I was like, what? Because I was getting my shit at the corner store off the rack still. At that point.
Shit.
At the yeah. So whatever they had, I would take it. They had Captain America, they had Hulk, they had Justice League every month. So I would get those, and then just whatever else they had. Dude was like, yo, there's a place, it's called Comics and Robots. It's up the hill. It's like a 5-mile bike ride up a hill that's like 2 miles long. I'm pretty sure it was in this dude's basement. Like, it had a separate entrance, but it was like this dude's basement, and they had comic books and toys. And I went there until I got to college. I went to that place until I went away to college. So that was how I found my tribe then. And they were all like older cats. They were all a little bit older, or quite a bit older. And it was great. It was great. I miss those days.
I understand what you mean by those days too. We had shops like that, similar, back in New York. You could just go there, and it before the hype, when it was about the stories and the community, and before speculation really got out of hand, Cause I think that's the same now. Sometimes, these kids want to get into some shit and they fall in love with a character, but goddamn, these price points are just fucking so out of range and ridiculous that you scare away people from buying the shit. You know what I mean? But that's just my opinion. I mean, we could do a little bit better there. You know what I mean?
Agree.
So talk about then taking steps into the creative journey. So you said you went to the shop until you were college. Did you even have in mind that you wanted to be a writer of some type at that point?
I was writing all that time.
Oh damn!
But
you were writing.
But it wasn't something. It was just something that I did. It wasn't something that I thought I could do as an adult, if that makes sense. Because when you're a little kid, you think, oh, well, when I grow up, I want to be an astronaut or Batman or a marine biologist or whatever. I never thought, well, when I grow up, I want to be a writer. But all that time, that's what I was doing. Like I started off, my parents were teachers, so I would get the construction paper from my mom's school, fold it in half, and draw my stick figures and write my comics. Now, the stick figures weren't that important, but what they were saying was super important. So I was writing through all those years. It wasn't until after college, when I was grown and I was in my 20s, and I was like, I should probably write a book. I've written hundreds of short stories. I'm going to write a novel. Well, I never finished that novel, but the roots of it ended up becoming the Band of the Black Fist. Okay, but so I never finished my fantasy epic. I never finished it, but I've written so many short stories. I prefer that form, the short form. But I was always writing, always. And then when I got older, start playing the bass, doing some lyric writing, songwriting, but I was always writing. All the music stuff I was doing, I was always writing also.
There you go. So, does the music play itself into your writing in comic books in any shape, way, or form?
Not yet. It's difficult for me. Like I've met people, writers and stuff. They're like, "Yo, what do you have on your playlist?" I was like, "Playlist? You listen to music while you're writing? There's no way. There is no way." See, people listen to music in their car,
Yeah,
or when they're cleaning their house, or in the shower. When I listen to music, I'm listening. I'm not doing other shit. I beam it directly into my brain, and I listen because it's a super important thing for me. So if I have music playing, there's no way that I could write. I can't even have it listen to music while I'm having adult time because I get distracted. I'm like, "Yo, listen to this part. This is my favorite part. Listen to," and then I'm like, "Am I on beat? Am I like?" I get too distracted, so I don't listen to music while I'm writing. But there have been a couple things that have inspired me to write music that I have written.
okay, but
Yeah.
all right. So, talk to me inspirations of the band of the Black Fist. Where did this come from? What was that birth? Where were you mentally when this was born?
The roots of it took hold in those formative years. I was 10, 12, 13, reading those Savage Sword of Conan, black and white, fantasy stories. At the same time, I was reading all those Robert Jordan, Robert E. Howard, Dragonlance, like any of the fantasy stuff I could get my hands on, all of it. Reading as much as possible. So in my 20s, I wrote this really long and kind of meandering fantasy story, epic, that went nowhere. It was one of those stories where there's a quest and you got to travel to get the dingus and you got to bring it back. And, you know that story. It was kind of generic. And I didn't finish it. But one of the things I was really happy about with it was the characterization. So I created these characters that I was pretty fond of. And the idea was there's this group of mercenaries and they're going to do their thing, we know that story. We always see that story. The story that we don't see is what happens after. So you got this big battle or dragon or eye in the sky or monster or whatever, and you have to vanquish it. And then what? So the idea for the band of the Black Fist to me was the and then what part. What happens to the survivors? What do they do? What happens when you save the world, but all your friends die? How do you react to that? So the roots of that story all came into being, and those characters came into me making the Band of the Black Fist. I knew I didn't want my first comic to be some cape shit. And that's not to disparage superhero stories because I love that stuff. I just didn't want to do it first. There's a lot of it. There's a lot of noise in that space. And fantasy is too much in a lot of ways. And fantasy's always been my go-to genre. You put a couple of dragons in it and throw a sword in there, and I'm all about it.
Yeah,
so,
we need more fantasy in this.
And we need more of that in the space. Exactly.
It's like you just said, not to diss cape stuff, but comic book it's so much more than above capes. I mean, back in the day, it was love and romance selling over capes. You know what I mean? Cowboys and Indians selling over
cowboys. Right. Slice life.
You know what I mean? Sci-fi at a point even. So, everything has this turn. So, superheroes have their turn, and I think it's time for people to get back into, the fantasy, the cowboys, all that good shit, it's that time once again. The genre is beautiful, and we have an amazing amount of creators out there that just smashing it across different types of storytelling.
Agreed. There's a lot of great creators in the indie space, a lot of great writing, a lot of great art in the indie space.
And that's what I want to get into. You see, you segued right into it, baby. That, you know, but your book is gorgeous. I'm gonna show that cover again, real quick. Well, I mean, look at this, Man of the Black Fist. I mean, and don't let the cover. This is not just the cover looks good. The interior is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, talk about the team you built. At first, what came first, Royal House or the Band of the Black Fist? You know,
Royal House Comics came first. Royal House came first.
But so talk to us. What is Royal House Comics?
Royal House Comics is a conglomeration of a bunch of creative people pulling resources and you know, collective minds into moving our careers as artists forward. So what happened is Robert Curtis, our editor-in-chief, had this idea. He's like, what if, like Wu-Tang, we gather together, because, you know, what's the issue? There's always an artist, can't find a writer. Writer, can't find an artist. You got to go around search for people. Well, what if we build this clan where we got artists, we got writers, we got editors, we got animators, and we all get together. Now, everybody's got their own project. So if you need help with this, well, here's my help. I got in-house help. If you need help with this, hey, we got in-house help. And then at the same time, 3 of us here, 3 of us there get together and work on projects together. So it was all kind of born out of a necessity as well as a desire to create a community and be a part of a community. Because, you know, writing is a solitary exercise. You could catch yourself spending a lot of time alone with the lights off, is doing this. So being with other creatives and, like you said, like brainstorming and sharing ideas. So, I mean, we have people from Lesotho and Belgium, Nigeria, here in the States, LA, Delaware, you know, all over the place. So we have all these different experiences, all this different life experience and stuff, and we pull all that together, and we built this company, and we put out some books, and we're really pleased with how things are going. We're actually kind of working our way into a soft relaunch now that we had a couple things and moving into place, clicking in together, and we're able to, you know, move forward a little bit faster than we had anticipated after a period of growth. So that is the Royal House Comics model. I can't imagine. I know there's a lot of people who do it. And part of me understands why. But one thing, after doing this for a few years, I imagine that with this crew, it's really, really hard to make a comic by your damn self. So hats off to all of you who are doing that. Hats off.
It takes a village.
Damn, it takes a village, for sure, for sure.
So the comic book is a kid, man. It's a project. It's your baby. And,
it's a baby.
And just like a baby, you know, you need your family or put together a family that can make this, you know, and build it to be, you know, the best thing that it can be, right? You know, on y'all works. I mean, and look at you guys over here, like, Band of the Black Fist ain't the only thing. My God, I mean, look at this. Whereby, y'all got some madness going on over here, and I love it. I love it. This is the comic book. So, talk to me about building that team, though, for Band of the Black Fist. What was that journey like? Did you even have experiences building a team?
So, it was my first time. It was my first time putting together a crew. And I'm not even up front, man. You know what I did? I copied off people. I looked at people who are doing things that I admire and respect and enjoy. And I was like, what does this guy do? Oh, he goes to this letterer. I sent that dude a DM. You available? Yes. Next. This guy, I kept seeing the artist, kept seeing his stuff around. I reached out to him, and we corresponded for a while. I kind of had to, I had to court him a little bit. I had to talk him into it. But I was like, look, man, like, here's the thing. you really like this genre. You never work in color. Like, this guy was like, no, I don't color any of my stuff. I only work in black and white. I was like, this has to be in black and white. It has to be. I see that you understand how the black and white works. I know that you understand the genre. You have to be the guy. It has to be you. Two times I've had that happen, where if they had said no, I probably wouldn't have. If he had said no, I probably wouldn't have done it. And the project I'm working on now, the guy had said no, I probably wouldn't have done it. It was really important to me for him to be the artist on Band of the Black Fist. Gotcha. So yeah, I had to pull out all my good game and convince him.
And convince him you did, apparently, because this
book
is effing gorgeous. I mean, so, what's the story? How many issues we going for? I mean, what's going on here?
It's going to be a 6-issue arc, and essentially it's the survivors of an elite mercenary group have to put aside their grief and their differences to face a monstrous enemy out for revenge. So pretty much, like we said, it starts, the war has just ended, like weeks ago. They just got home.
Okay, all right.
So they literally, at the beginning of the book, these guys try to mug them, and that's them on their way home from the war. Like, they're actually returning home. And
thank you for the service.
Yeah, thank you for your service. Exactly. So they're sitting around and they're like, well, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? And then on top of that, like, all their crew, their boys are all dead. And then they get offered a job, and that's the nuts and bolts of the first issue. This job is there is some ancient blood feuds with these couple different races, fantasy races, and one of them, the royal bloodline, is in danger. So they hire this group, the Band of the Black Fist, the remainder of the Band of the Black Fist, to protect the heir to the throne. Now, there used to be 20 of them. Now there's only 3.
Oh,
and they all died in that big battle. So now there's only 3 of them left, and they pretty much have to figure out how to keep this young prince alive from, these horrible monsters that want to kill him. It's going to be a 6-issue arc. It's been written for a few years. And I'm just in that tweaking. But you know how you never stop editing. You know how that goes.
I know, absolutely, man. But again, sometimes we gotta stop seeking that perfectionism and let it get out the way it is, because it may be perfect to everyone else. We gotta learn to sometimes, stop being so hard on ourselves.
Yep, gotta let it go.
And I'll tell you,
that's the hardest thing.
Yeah, you have a beautiful project here. I salute you, kiddo. All right. I mean, and what's even crazier here, I mean, Tony's not here. How dare you, Tony? You better be saving lives. I'll tell you that much. All right. So Advent Comics, I mean, Tony been doing this, for about 15 years now. Cosmos, I know, is nominated for Heroic and all, and now he hooked up, from what I understand, with a couple of independent publishing houses, and we have this coming project called the Epiphany engine.
Yeah.
I mean, what is this? I mean, when I saw so many different publishers and admin, I'm like, wait a minute, are we doing another indie crossover or some shit? I mean, that's been 20 years.
Yes, that's exactly what's happening. 33 independent publishers.
33?
33 publishers. About 70 characters. 200-page graphic novel is coming. That is the brainchild of Tony from Advent Comics. Yeah, the Juneteenth, the Kickstarter goes live.
On Juneteenth,
so go on Juneteenth.
Talk to me, baby, about this effing project. I mean, first of all, how did you hook up with Big Tone, man? Because again, for me, he a legend. Like, as long as he's been doing that, I've actually has been doing this. So
Wow, yeah.
On our journeys, we've been kind of on the same wavelength. So I've seen his growth, and like, yeah, I see. Yeah, he don't play, man. Tony get it done.
Yeah, he's one of those people that I watch and copy. You know, I've read a bunch of his books, and you know, Titan. Yeah, the dude is he's the man. So he actually put out a message. There's a little bit more history that I'm not hip to. I think there was an attempt to do a crossover 10, 12 years ago, 15, and it didn't happen for whatever reason. And I think he took that personally, and he wanted it to happen. So he built this infrastructure, and he's like, hey, look, who's interested? I couldn't raise my hand fast enough to get to even in the periphery, like even just, you know, kind of 2 or 3 degrees of separation to be able to work with somebody like him is amazing. You know, like I know now that he has read something that I wrote because I sent it to him when we were putting all this stuff together. But essentially, the Epiphany engine is a story about a family of adventurers, like genius level family, mother, father, 2 children, and they go on a multiversal adventure. And 33 publishers, 70 plus characters, 200-page graphic novel. The team that's building this thing, the art team, the writing team is fantastic. I mean, if you look at it, it's like a who's who of indie comics. And I'm super pumped that Royal House is going to be part of something like this.
This is amazing, yo. It's 192 pages. So how is this working? I mean, this is a super massive project. Is it an anthology? Is it a straightaway? How are you guys collaborating, you know, to making sure that each other's characters get a moment, a spotlight? I mean, this is huge. 33 publishers within 192 pages. I mean, this shit is no joke. I mean, so tell me how it works. Yeah,
it's massive. It's a one-shot story. One shot.
So one whole story then.
One whole story.
Holy fuck, bro. How are you guys doing this?
And the team that he put together, like, so many moving parts. But one of the things that Tony was real cool about was like, send me something, send me your book, send me something so we get the characterization of these characters correct, you know, the way that you want them to be. Outside of that, man, honestly, I'll tell you, me personally, as one of the 33 publishers involved in this, I just been sitting back watching this project managing stuff happen. It's like a master class. Yeah. I'm just hanging out, getting educated, you know, absorbing as much as I can.
Well, thank you for saying that, because a lot of people don't realize a Kickstarter project is in fact just that. You're not running a Kickstarter campaign. It is project management. And if you have those skills of project management, you will murder the crowdfunding game.
Yep.
Dead ass. Yep. Like, period. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. Yeah, I can't imagine that level though of project management. Because that's construction. Fucking like working with 33 different firms.
That's building a house. Yeah, that's building a house. Exactly.
Tony's not building a house. This motherfucker's building a skyscraper right now.
A skyscraper. Yep, he is.
Yeah, he is. This is no joke. That's project management to the extreme. Nothing.
To the highest level. To the highest level. Yeah, and it's. I'm so happy to be a part of it. Like, yeah, my character is Saint Monday, and he shows up. I'm gonna do a real happy dance.
Do you know how many artists are involved and how many writing teams, alternative, like speaking and working together to make it come to life? Do you know those numbers?
I know there's 3 writers, and as far as the artists, I don't know how many exactly, because I know there's a cover team, there's an interior team, and then there's a couple like floaters who are doing variants and stuff like that. Tony knows all that stuff. He keeps us in the loop really well. Like we're abreast of a lot of the decision making, a lot of the things that are going on in the process. But like I said, man, I'm just watching and absorbing, and like how, you know, how do these guys do this? This is how, you know, this is high level independent comic book workings. And it's, again, I can't say it enough, how excited Royal House is to be a part of it.
So listen, I'm seeing the brands and I'm excited. I can't wait till this goes live myself right now. Well,
Yeah.
what I see, you know, I don't know if you see it, but again, right now, 223 followers. You
Yep.
know, waiting to get notified, baby, on this dope project. Again, and then we know the most important thing here, folks. Put it on your calendars right now. Juneteenth. Just go that day. You're not just celebrating that day, all right? And while you're home enjoying a day off, all right, you can easy peasily just go to Kickstarter, put that shit on your calendar right now, all right, as a reminder. And then when you wake up, oh, time to support this dope campaign by amazing independent creators across the whole spectrum, right?
Right.
I mean,
all kinds. Yes. Look at the list is insane. It's insane. Godhood Comics, Advent Comics, Stranger Comics, Second Sight, Fourth Wall, Wingless, Royal House. Like it's nuts. It's a who's who.
Let me get a motherfucking broom, man, because the way you dropping their names, holy shit, baby. You know what I mean? Let's get excited. This is independent comics at its best. I can't wait. You know what I mean? Because this is what's exciting. This is what we need in indie. It's an exciting year for indie because you guys are doing this. And then this year we have the Heroic Awards over at C2E2 this year.
Right.
It's going to be absolutely amazing. I mean, I can't wait. Check out, you know, I have a little rough cut of an intro. You know, check it out, folks. Let me know what you think. That's right. We're celebrating indie comics.
That was great.
What? Don't you feel excited?
Yeah, that was great,
baby. You know what I mean? And you know, I wish I got in a little bit earlier on this and have been able to tell all my people that I've interviewed in the past to submit to. You know, but I'm happy a lot have, and I know, like I said, I know Tony Cosmos is up in there as a nominee. You know what I mean? And with that journey and the quality of his book, shit, you know, I'm just an MC, so I don't have to be unbiased. Bias.
I'm right, you know, I mean, you can be as biased as you want.
That's fine. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I love Tony to win an award. Very, very well deserved. So you know what I mean? And I definitely be rooting for him. I mean, because again, I'm only an MC, not a presenter. I will whoever I want. I mean, there's a lot, but again, I want everybody to win. You know.
Right. You want everybody to bring home all the trophies.
Of course, but there could only be one, though.
Can only be one.
It can only be like Candace Owens said, you know, wear a helmet, you know, life is rough sometimes, and doesn't mean that we're kicking you down. You just got to stand up and fight harder. That's all.
That's right.
You know? So, all right. So, we talked about the project Kickstarter. Look, I have the link below. I also have it in the notes. Yo, we're going to kick ass. You're going to show some love, all right? Because this is an amazing independent project that's dropping again on Juneteenth. I mean, independent crossover. I mean, if you guys are spending money on the Marvel stuff, and within those, just by themselves, sometimes they try to break your bank. Now, this is amazing because you're about to get introduced to your next favorite thing, period. 33 publishers in the game. I mean, yo, Tony, shout out. You know, we missed you here. I wish you could have came. And we could have talked and got more insight as well as your mindset on it. But you know, I think Chuck does, you know, his excitement and everything just shows what it means. So, Chuck, what else is in the future for Royal House? What's popping? I mean, are you doing like any convention appearances or anything? What's going on?
We're going to try to go back to LA this year. So that's the goal, is to get everything ready to go back to LA Comic Con before we start our quarterly plan, which is for 2025. Try to go to one convention a quarter. But going to LA, like I said, we're doing that soft reboot. So we're actually going to re-release some of our early books, Dombay, Song of the First Butcher, Pharaoh versus Priest, and possibly Band of the Black Fist again as we do our new website kind of relaunch. We're going to release another issue of our webtoon. It's called Sync. There's an art book coming out from one of our members, D-Inks. He's going to be putting out an art book. Dude is an amazing character designer. I'm really happy that he's getting together to finally make that happen. But we're just going to keep releasing books, keep trying to build that community and just get the name out, build the brand and enjoy what we are doing. Because that's, making money's cool, but that's why we're all doing it. We're all doing it because we love it. So just keep enjoying it.
That's why I do it. That's why I do what I do here. Ain't about no money, nothing like that. It's being able to celebrate amazing creators like yourselves, that are on the journey, keeping us inspired, keeping us entertained. So from as a fan to a creator, thank you, man, for just sharing in your vision and your talent with us in the world. It means a lot to me, that you put yourself out there. That is being vulnerable when people put their projects out there, and instead of being a hater, if you don't like it, just shut the fuck up and move on.
Just keep moving. Right, same. Keep it moving. Keep it moving.
That's all. It's all good, yo. Somebody likes it and it's all right. Don't be a hater, all right? So with that, Chuck, man, thank you so much, bro. Everybody, make sure you check out and follow the brand at Royal House Comics on X at comics_royal, all right? Check out the new website. It's still a work in process, all right? But it's coming on up at Royal House Comics, the number 8.com. You can follow Chuck on IG at itsonlychuck. Oh shit. All right. I like the name right there. And then you can, of course, listen, Tony wasn't here, but you can follow Tony on Meta, which is Facebook, folks, at tony.control.583. And of course, you can follow his website at adventcomics.com. You can follow Advent just about everywhere on social media at Advent Comics. All right. And of course, most importantly, sign up for that project right now. It's going live on Juneteenth. And while y'all up, y'all got that money, that tax money would have come in by then. No excuses. I know you got some savings. Spend a little bit of money. Of course, support amazing independent creators in this fire project. 33 publishers, they ain't around. There's some real deal shit right here. Show that support. And with that, I'm Mike with the million Chuck. Thank you, my Crusaders, for tuning in. Like always, much love. Hasta la próxima. Thank you for listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. If you like the content, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, please visit comiccrusaders.shop and our extended podcast family over at undercovercapes.com. And also, make sure to download the Comic Crusaders app on the Google Play Store today.